Golfers, we all can agree on one thing, and that is that we must have adequate flexibility and mobility in our swing. So I see you guys working on this in the gym all the time, and it makes me very happy because it's something we absolutely must do. But there's one thing missing when I see a lot of people do this, and it's they are not pushing their ranges of motion like they should, right? If we are trying to stretch, right, we need to actually stretch and not just go into the range of motion that we already have. All right, so before I show the demonstrations here in a second, I want to leave you with this quote. And what doesn't challenge you doesn't change you. So remember that as we go into some of these demonstrations and when you work on your mobility on your own in the gym. All right, over the years, this stretch has probably become the most popular one I see on social media and in the gym. So we've got a foam roller here. You can get a bigger one if you want. And we're going to put it up against the wall. And now I'm going to push my knee into it. I've got a very stable lower body, so I'm squeezing my glutes. My core is tight, so that way I can be nice and stable. Now, you'll see a lot of people do this pretty half-assed, for lack of a better term. So what we see is we kind of see the slapping around type of thing, or just like this, right? Like I comfortably have that. Like I don't even have to really try hard to get there. But we are trying to stretch and we want more range of motion. So what do we need to do? We need to really push in here, and I really need to work on turning my torso. I'm trying to get that. It's not a shoulder stretch, it's a thoracic spine rotation. So instead of just letting it get here, which is what I already have, I don't need to stretch that. I want to push it more. So I've really got to move this shoulder back. I'm thinking about my shoulder blade, and I'm trying to think that if I was wearing a jersey with my last name on the back, I would want who's ever on this wall, maybe behind the wall, to be able to read my full name, all right? So think about that. So I wanna get here, I already got that. Now how can I get, and you hear my voice change, I'm pushing, I'm trying to get further, right? That's what a stretch is, not this. Really work on getting more out of it, okay? And until you're able to do that, you can try a different way, so I'm gonna show you that now. So that stretch was called an open book. I technically be a wall-supported book opener is what I would call it. And then we have another way to do it. We can do a sideline book opener. So I'm gonna lay here on the ground, and I think this is a better way if you are struggling with that one to get more range, because we can actually kind of use some gravity to help us, because it's gonna push my lower back into the ground. So I'm gonna lie here. You can put something underneath here like a pillow or a mat, and you're just gonna pin that knee to the ground. You want it about hip height because I'm gonna lock in my lower body. Now, I'm gonna open, and there again, there's all the range I got, and I'm gonna push, breathe. You can kind of exhale as you get there, so I'm kind of hold my breath, but if I exhale, I can get down further. I'm trying to keep this knee down, because if I just roll, that's not getting more range, that's just using my lower body to twist me some more, right? So I wanna really push. You can hear my voice change as I get there, right? I'm really trying to work and put my shoulders down to get more range of motion. Remember what I said at the beginning, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So we can go over a few more examples here of popular stretches I see. Most commonly, golfers were trying to stretch our upper body to get more turn, and they're also trying to stretch the hips. So here's one for the hips. Very popular when it comes to the hip is that we get down on all fours, and we essentially do a hip car, right? So it's out to the side, and we rotate as much as we possibly can. Now, what a lot of people miss is stability. We need to be able to be stable with what other parts of our body are trying to stay still and focus on the mobility of that joint. So what you'll see commonly here is that we are just borrowing for mobility from our upper body to get, see how I drop down here and it feels like my hip has gone higher, when actually if I straighten back out, it's only gone to there. And again, that's my comfortable range of motion, and then I just went here, okay? So a better way to do this would be to find a more stable way for the upper body to hold tight while we move that joint. I'll show you here in a second. So that move we just did on the ground, if you can imagine, I'm basically just gonna take that same move, and instead of my hands being on the ground, they're gonna be on the wall. This way I can get more stability in my upper body and work on the range of motion of my hip. Okay, so here, I can challenge that range and really push into the wall, keeping my core tight. And if you kind of remember, I only got about that much earlier. I have that range comfortably. Now I can push for more of it. Oh. So this would be, pretty normal. Hear my voice? No change. I got that range. Here's what I don't have. Up there. And notice like I even kind of collapsed over here. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but I collapsed. I cheated. Catch yourself. Reset. So that's my message for you guys. We obviously need as much mobility that we can control and flexibility in our swing. But the problem is, you guys don't train it hard enough, okay? You've got to treat it just like you would your bench press, okay? You want to push more weight, you want to get pumped, you want to get big, treat your mobility the same. Push it hard, okay? So if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Thanks for watching.